Hey guys, it's Vince. Today I am testing a client system with MikroCNC, and of course they're using the ETH-Compact Ethernet Controller. I've got a demo motor set up here. Once again, this is just strictly for testing, but it gives you guys an overall feel of what we're working with Micro. Right now, I've got the software set up, and you can see setting up your axis outputs is no different than Mach 3, essentially. X 2.3, Y-axis 4.5, Z-axis 6.7, and A-axis 8.9. Now, of course, I am using a G540. If you're using another drive, then naturally you would utilize whatever breakout board. If it's an individual drive system or if it's integrated, you use whatever step and direction signals that are required. Other than that, everything else is very, very basic. Motor profile right now, and this is going to interest many of you. Right now, the motor profile is set at a maximum speed velocity of 6,000 millimeters a minute. You can see that right here. And it is set up. Now, I do only have the x-axis plugged in to give you guys an idea of just how fast that is. This system, once it has soft limits enabled, I don't know if she can see that on the screen. I'm trying to get it to glare off the screen so you guys can see it, but there is boundaries around what it projects the table to be. You can see the soft limit button right here is enabled, and if we go to jog, you can see just how fast we're there. I'm going to hit go to 0. We'll come back, zoom in a little bit, and just show you guys how easy this is. I mean, once again, motor's doing its thing. Everything here is set. And I have been getting many, many questions on this software. You can see right here we are communicating with the ETH. We are using a standard Ethernet cable. I've gotten that question numerous times. The reason this unit uses a standard Ethernet cable is it utilizes galvanic isolation, so it does not need a double shielded Ethernet cable. If your Ethernet controller does not have galvanic isolation, it must use a double shielded Ethernet cable. So keep that in mind. But right now, we're just doing basic demo movements, making sure everything is corresponding. I'm going to stop this here on the software, and I just want to show you guys some more of the setup. Once again, if we're setting up our Ethernet controller, you can set up right here. That's for your IP address. I will cover that in a separate video. Setup. Once again, we're under motor profiles. It memorized where we were. And for my THC guys, which are the ones I'm getting the most questions on, we've got a general THC tab, which once again you will select external, meaning basically you'll be using an external mounted THC like a Proma that is not integrated with the unit. If you're using the THC sensor from Audiohms that I carry, designed for use with this system, you would be selecting the internal THC use. And that's this button right here. Okay, so you can select between the two of these, and once again we go to internal THC. You guys can see exactly what we have here. Now once again, this is inside of MikroCNC. This is not inside of Mach 3. I've gotten questions on that as well. I'm going to come over to Mach 3, and you can see I've got the plugin that's already installed in Mach 3 for the ETH-Compact Ethernet Controller, and you can see what we have under general setup. Now, nothing here is really outlandish to many of you working with Mach 3. You're already well aware of what all of these settings are. Maximum step frequency for a lot of you out there who do not really have trouble understanding this, 100 kilohertz is going to be less speed naturally than 200 kilohertz. It's the rate at which our step and direction pulses are sent. The faster they're sent, the faster your system will behave, pending of course your drive and supporting components will support that. Keep that in mind. Now on a G540, 100 kilohertz is the maximum. When we work with our SMCU integrated drive, we can go to 200 hertz, which once again, 200 kilohertz is going to give you double the speed of 100 kilohertz, pending, of course, all components support it. And it doesn't mean just because your electronics support it that your chassis and transmission are going to support that. Everything must work in harmony, and if it doesn't, it means nothing. Moving on, we've got our input filter. And this is extremely interesting. It has built-in debounce to actually go and justify signals. Now, what does that mean? That means that when we have numbers here, right now they're arbitrarily set at 30. This is default. We're going to wait for 30 milliseconds before a signal that the controller detects is considered valid. Now, why is that important? It's important because if by chance you had a cable that failed, that for some reason wasn't grounded properly or whatever happened as far as the build of it, then you'd want to make sure that this is enabled to keep the system stable. Now, this is in no way for anyone to use debounce settings to eliminate the use of proper components like double shielded cable. It is to enhance the use and also to adjust for specific environments. This allows for more detailed setup. But knowing that this controller has it built in is just an amazing option. Special functions here, you can go under analog, analog 2, encoder 1, encoder 2. Once again, to set pins for encoder MPG, it goes on in detail about this. Most of you will not be using this. Pendant, if you guys are using a pendant, it does support pendant use. And then my guys with the THC options. This is where things get interesting. Once again, you've got the external and the internal THC options. If we click on advanced, then you can see even more settings that you can manipulate to get those cuts as perfect as possible, which once again, it's unheard of. And I am running the stock screen set of Mach 3. I did not demo yet the screen set that Pitar made, which once again is strictly for plasma cutting clients. So keep that in mind. I still have more videos to do. This is a lot of hardware to cover as far as feature set, but you can see here what you guys are working with. And this is pretty much unheard of as far as having this all built in to an Ethernet-based controller. I'm just going to get out of Mach right now. We'll go back into Micro. And once again, everything is set up here basically the same. We are running under Python programming. You do have UI options if you guys want to change anything as far as background color, text color. I got those questions. Coming up here, viewing everything, you do have standard screen, THC plasma screen. You have themes, light default, dark theme, and dark modern industrial, which is what I'm using right here. Input output diagnostics, you can see right now we're not running, so nothing is lit up. But if we go to run and I enable, you can see everything now is lit. It's detecting everything. If I go to start, we're moving again. You guys can probably hear the motor moving. And you can also see our output pins that are representing the x-axis are also illuminating and also going off as those signals are going and being sent to the controller. So once again, really, really unique. Soft limits are auto set in terms of where the endpoints are for them to be triggered, which is very, very unique in that the software itself dictates where the slow zone is, so you don't have to set it up. So it bases that on how fast you're jogging. The faster you move, you want to make sure you're giving your motors ample time to disintegrate that speed. So once again, we disperse the energy appropriately. So again, you guys can see here just how clean this is. Very, very easy to work with. I'll hit stop. We'll go back into config. What we're looking at here is we can come over here to spindle coolant, and once again, you'll do your PWM spindle setup. Now, this software does support step and direction use for spindle control. Now, what does that mean? That means you're able to actually dictate using a step and direction motor like a stepper. For those guys that do not require a lot of RPM but need more horsepower and want to stay at a slower speed, very, very powerful for different applications. So again, keep that in mind. You do have that option. PWM out, naturally, that is to support that 0 to 10 volt voltage, which represents 0 to 100% as far as your RPM on your spindle and VFD. And that will be controlled and manipulated through the software directly, just like Mach 3. It's just a little cleaner in terms of being more modern. You've got everything here as far as spindle and coolant relays, M3 clockwise, M4 counterclockwise, M7 mist coolant, M8 flood coolant. So again, very, very easy. You could turn your delay on. It does have a delay feature. Button scripts, Ref All Home, Auto Tool 0. You can enable these. They're already pre-configured within the software. And again, keep in mind, and I cannot emphasize this enough, this software is free. And that is a tremendous benefit to those of you who want modern and do not want to deal with, G code limits. The only thing you're purchasing is right here. And you can see we've got the LPH26 cable going into the 540. It plugs directly into the board. We have our filtered power connector going in with inline switch, and you're set. Now, I will be having an enclosure for this shortly to do a standalone unit, no different than my UC400. The big difference is that you get this software with this unit, where you're not purchasing any additional software, and there is no G code limit. I cannot emphasize that enough. So for you guys using this software yourself, you'll never have to pay for any proprietary unlocks or licenses. It's all set to go. So everything you see here, along with our fixtures, I mean, we've got all the basic setups that Mach 3 has. If you guys are working with different components in terms of settings, you do have all of your fixtures, your X, Y, Z offset. Now, I do cover that in the next portion of this video, where I'm covering the software briefly, but overall, this is a more detailed overview of what we've got. You do have Safe Z setup, machine coordinates, work coordinates, relative to current position. You can enable it, of course, and you can also set your Safe Z value. Now, one thing to keep in mind with this software, I don't think it'll affect many of you. Some people are still hooked on using Imperial. This software right now is currently set up strictly for metric use. And to be quite honest, metrics is going to give you a far more accurate measurement than dealing in Imperial. That's why we see it crossed over so much. But I know a lot of my old school clients, they still like Imperial. So just keep that in mind right now. I'm sure that will change in a future update. One thing about Pitar, he doesn't sleep when it comes to updating. I mean, we've discussed a lot of different things here. And one thing about this software, it's super powerful. You can see exactly what we've got here. We also got the tool table, which many of you have requested and talked about. You can see here all of the different tooling options. I mean, it is what it is. For those of you concerned, because I've gotten a lot of questions about ATC spindle support, that is by machine direct, meaning I need to know what you're working with, your tool umbrella, so that once I know what machine you're working with, I can get to Pitar and we can talk to programming Sasha, who once again, he's a great guy. He will go through and set up what script is required so we can get you supported with that ATC spindle support, because that is a specialized script and it is only predetermined by what robot you're using, and every feature of that will be configured towards that. That's why it's so much more intricate than what we deal with Mach 3. Mach 3 is just plug and go with it. And then you'll find guys that are, offsetting the market. If they create one for themselves, you're hoping you have support. I wanted motion control software that had it out of the gate, or the option to, because I know many of you have requested that over the years. I mean, the whole goal here eventually is to have full autonomous robots for many of you. I mean, I know that's really what you're looking for. Leave the tool changes up to the robot itself, and you guys basically monitor everything remotely, or once again in a configured basis that fits more around your schedule, rather than once again having to do that manual operation. So again, I hope that this video has been more helpful. I will get back to testing, and you guys now will get to see the other portion of the video where I just do a brief overview of MikroCNC. Keep the questions coming. I know that many of you, you're looking at this, especially if you're a novice. It's new software. Check it out, look at Mach 3, and you will soon see just overall difference here, but also dealing with Python, which again is more modern type programming, much easier to work with. You're going to have the ability to add feature sets that you will not there, especially with different scripts and whatnot. We can do them basically on the fly. So it's just a question of what we want to do done. And then of course coming out with later releases. Like I said, Pitar and Audiohms has been fantastic. Those guys are really working hard to make sure that we can support whatever our clients need. And that's super, super important. So again, stay tuned for the second half of the video. I want to thank everybody for your support. Take care. Right guys, welcome to MikroCNC. It's the only motion control software available in the US by myself that is totally free, unlimited G-code use, meaning there's no limit on how much G-code you run, and it was designed in Serbia by Petar at Audiohms. You can see that right here, and it will be bundled with the new ETH-Compact Ethernet motion controller designed by himself and me, and this is extremely powerful, unique software. Let me explain. One of the most requested features of motion control software is the ability to support automatic tool change spindles. Well, guess what? Now, not only will it support it, it will have custom scripts generated for your particular ATC module. That being said, we also did not forget all of my plasma guys. This is the most powerful option. This right here is the screen set for plasma. When you see what this offers, it's really, I think, going to impress many of you because these are a lot of requested features. I'm going to click OK here. You can see our soft limit box is set up here. Of course, it has soft limits. If we go over here to setup, you're going to notice that if I come over here to THC setup, it's got a general THC setup for external THC, similar to like a promo. And then over here we have an internal THC. That's right. The Ethernet Compact Controller that Petar and I've worked on actually has built-in support in firmware so that you guys can make adjustments just by clicking internal THC, and now you've got all of the required adjustments to give you precision cuts, and you can adjust a lot of different variables. But he didn't stop there, and I have to give him a lot of credit. He wanted to go above and beyond, and he even created a Mach 3 screen set. For those of you that want to use Mach 3, that's fine. You've got that availability too, and you will have these features as well, which again takes it to an entirely different level. You don't hear vendors going through and literally coming up with different screen sets to support every bit of options that are required to really fine-tune your cutting, and that is something he did want to do, and he did an exceptional job. This software, again, is super easy to work with. Again, access output pins. I'm just going to go over these settings real quick. Motor profiles for motor tuning. Homing and limits does have a safe zone. Speed on the safe zone is auto adjusted by the software, so you're no longer putting in an inch, 2 inches. Very, very powerful. This will give you the availability, of course, for slaving axis, backlash compensation. You've got that. And then we're going into advanced features, input signals right here, and then we go output signals, and of course you've got your encoders if you're going to use a motion planner, just coming down, button scripts if you wanted to do that. Again, we have all of them for Referral Home, Auto 2.0, background tasks, whatever it may be, external buttons. And then, of course, you've got your UI options. You can change your colors. Now, this does have a background. Right now, the theme is set up as industrial. And this, of course, is set for the plasma system. This is a plasma screen set. If we go back, we'll go to View, we'll go to Standard. This is for mill router. Again, guys, super, super powerful. File, open. It'll ask you direct G-code access from hard drive, and you can also select. I'm not going to mess with anything. Here we go. Now, of course, I didn't set the table size up. This gives you an idea of exactly what we're working with. So very, very simple. Start, stop, enable. We do have a calibration script. So you will be able to calibrate 6-axis. So very, very unique. This module will be added on the next revision of the software. But again, when you consider this as free, it's got an unlimited G-code production. Super, super powerful. Start. Give you an idea what's going down. And you can see very, very basic. Stop. Click on rewind. We'll go to 0. Very simple, guys. You do, of course, have your fixtures. If you wanted to put them in, put your G540 all the way up. We also then, you have your safe Z settings. Tool table. So whenever you guys want to adjust your tools, all set there for memory. Your offsets required for each tool diameter.
Tool offsets. So we can adjust everything. You can turn them on and off. Everything is here. Go to 0, ref all home goes to green. Very, very similar to what many of you are used to. You can adjust where your view is. Simple. Jog and pendant window. Right here, you can see how everything works. Set up your jog steps. Continuous step, MPG, set which mode. Macro log, or in your input output. This is very, very useful for troubleshooting. Many of you guys are familiar with this, so again, nothing new here. Input output signals, probe, index, spindle clockwise, counterclockwise, flood mist. I mean, everything that you could pretty much imagine that would be required in base software you've got right here. So for the guys out there looking to get started quickly and want to use something modern, you're not going to be free. I mean, it's the fact. And on top of the fact, then of course, like I said, if you do expand your system, you can go up to 6-axis, as well as supporting now full ATC support. Of course, you'll need the umbrella, all of the supporting features for that. And other than that, once you get the script, you'll be golden. So definitely check this out, my plasma guys. This is something you definitely want to pay attention to.